My name is Henry Baruch, and I would like to share with you my experiences in Nazi Germany as a young boy from the age of 6 to 10. Now you might say, what can a 6-year-old possibly remember and retain for 70 years? When you experience traumatic happenings and extreme tension and pressure, these memories remain very vivid throughout your life. I was born in 1930 to Jewish parents. My dad was a scrap iron and steel dealer with his dad. Mom was a dress designer and costume maker for the theater in Berlin. That's about as much of background as I give you right now. But some of you might be curious why what did happen over in Germany. Around 1929, 1930, there was extreme poverty in Germany. There was hunger, there was unemployment. People were really hurting. And put yourself in that position. If you were in that situation and you were about to lose your home, you didn't have adequate food for your table, you had no health insurance, it was rough buying clothing for your children. Now along comes this man, I hesitate to call him a man, but I will, and he tells you this: I will provide for you, I will put food on your table, I will give you health insurance, I will have work for you, you will keep a roof over your head. All I ask is one thing: I want you to come work for me. Now what would you do? You don't have to answer me. I know what the answer is and what the answer was from hundreds of thousands of German people. They went to work for Adolf Hitler, and the result was the highway system in Germany, which is called the Autobahn, that is now very much in use. Regarding the Holocaust, which is what this whole thing is about, really, it was the murder of nearly 6 million Jews in Europe between 1933 and 1945. It was a highly organized process of systematic annihilation. The victims of the Holocaust were men, women, and 1.5 million children. The perpetrators were unique in human history. They were citizens of a civilized nation, many of them products of high culture and advanced degrees. Hitler played heavily on the anti-Semitism already rooted within his people. Essentially, the Germans were Aryans, and everyone else was subhuman. Now this is in his mind. Hitler took these ideas and embellished them. He blamed the Jews for 2 great wounds upon humanity. Number 1, circumcision of the body. Number 2, conscience of the soul. The Nazi propaganda paper, Der Stürmer, or the Storm, translated, revived the blood libels. The church would warn their constituents, watch your children 6 to 7 weeks before Passover. Everyone knows that just before Passover, Jews need the blood of a Christian child, maybe to mix in with their matzahs. The attitude taught to the children was, just as one poisonous mushroom can poison a whole family, one Jew can poison the whole town or a whole country. The same paper was running contests encouraging German children to write in. And one little girl wrote, "People are so bothered by the way we're treating the Jews. They can't understand it because they are God's creatures. But cockroaches are also God's creatures, and we destroy them. Isn't that sad?" Words can create an attitude. If a person says something loud enough and often enough, he creates a climate. And under that climate, all sorts of things happen. Now I'm going to get into a little personal matters. This is what we really came to hear. In 1936, I had just turned 6 years old. My dad came to the United States with the intention of having us migrate to the U.S. He visited with his cousin, who was at that time vice president in charge of advertising and publicity for Warner Brothers Film Studios, a man by the name of Charles Einfeld. Dad wanted to get visas so that we can get out of this mess that we were in. Well, Einfeld gave us 6 visas. Now you got to listen carefully here. Our family consisted of 5 people: Mom, Dad, my brother, myself, and my mom's mother. But Dad also had his parents and 4 brothers. Obviously, the 6 visas went to them. And they came to this country a few months later and settled here. When Dad returned, we were on a very close friendship with our neighbors. They were Christian people, good Christian people. The wife was a dentist, the husband was a dentist, and their 2 children were dental assistants. And the girl became sort of a nanny to my brother and myself. My brother, incidentally, was 1.5 years younger than I am. And every afternoon she would take us to the park for a walk and some playtime, and we always looked forward to that. On this particular afternoon, my brother was in the hospital having his appendix taken out, and I was alone with her, and we crossed numerous little bridges that spanned small brooks and streams. And as we were in the middle of one of these bridges, 2 members of the Hitler Youth Movement came charging at us, threw a rope around my neck, and what I'm doing now was my instant reflex then. I put my thumb between the rope and my neck. That was the only thing I could do. This was followed by his question, "Are you Jewish?" And I was afraid to answer. And she kept screaming and telling him to let go of me, which he didn't. And he pulled me over to the edge of the bridge, and I was leaning back, and I could see out of the corner of my eye an older gentleman come running